Everybody, you are listening to Carl White here on the Loan Officer Freedom Podcast, #1 podcast in the world today for loan officers. And I'm broadcasting today from the secret headquarters here at the Mortgage Marketing Animals /Freedom Club here in the communications room. And I'm joined by one of my partners, very dear friend of mine, the ever so lovely and talented Mr. Steve Kiles. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing great. One and only, charming, lovely. What else?
Smart. So cool. So we're doing an episode here. Normally where you're in Houston, I'm here in Palm Harbor area. But if you're watching this live today, those that are watching this on the live stream, we're sitting here shoulder to shoulder, which is a real treat for me. So
for both of us,
love
our time together.
Yeah.
Hey, and as we get started,
wait, let me just tell the episode what we're talking about first.
Do it.
So you're on the right episode if you want to learn how to do open houses the right way. And I'm going to give you a little sneak peek here. This will likely give you the best results ever of open houses, and you're not there. All right, so that's the cliffhanger. All right, so
okay, I got it. This is going to be good. Okay, hey, well, we did want to thank our listeners. We're getting so many 5-star reviews.
You know what? We really appreciate those reviews. And look, it's no secret. The reviews drive listenership.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate you guys and gals helping us improve our leadership. Frankly, it does it work for us? Of course it helps us. But it helps you too, because when we see that we got so many people listening to this thing these days, it makes us step up our game and do a better episode and bring you even more information to be worthy of all these great things that you were saying to us, and to help encourage you to send it to your friends, which makes us step up our game even more. So everybody wins.
Hey, well, and Tom Callagher, thank you so much for your review. He said, doubled my production in 6 months, Carl. Listening to this podcast, utilizing Carl's methods, has more than doubled my production in less than 6 months. We are talking major money left on the table. If you aren't doing these things right now, not only will it make you money, it's interesting to listen to, well-produced, and inspires you to take action. And so Tom Callagher,
right? Tom Callagher, I think that's right.
Callagher is how I would say it. Hey, thank you for your review. And one of the things is, if you'll send us an email at support@themarketinganimals, we'd love to put your newest book in his hands.
Yeah. So what we'll do is not just with Tom, but anybody, if you leave a review, and do we like the 5 stars? Of course, but we're just looking for an honest review. So whatever review you leave, just honest one, take a picture of it. And then
give us your address,
email it to support@themarketinganimals.com. And we'll send you a copy of my newest book called Loan Officer Champions, where I went through and interviewed 10 top producing loan officers that are literally rags to riches stories. And with each with their own unique challenges that they had. And the idea is you read what they did and find a couple stories that you can relate to in your own personal situation, and see what they did. They give specific action items of what they did. It's a great book. And again, you're welcome to go buy it, right? That's totally cool. But I'll give you a copy if you'll just simply leave an honest review, whatever it is, right? And take a picture, email it to support@themarketinganimals.com. So that's my ethical bribe for the day.
I love it. Hey, but we got a great topic.
We do.
Wow. Like cliffhanger, how to have an effective open house and not even be there.
Yeah. So how this actually came up is, Steve, you asked me a great question earlier today. You said, Carl, what's something you did in your first year that you don't do now? And something I did in my first year that I no longer do is go to open houses, right? So in my first year,
you showed up all the time.
I didn't know what else to do, right? I didn't know anybody, or so I thought. I didn't know anybody, and how else am I going to meet real estate agents? And so I went to the open houses on the weekend. The problem is,
it's not scalable.
It's not scalable. And because I can only be at one open house at a time. And so what I learned is that if I have 3 or 4 agents and I got a couple of them wanting me to do the open house this weekend, and they're both on Saturday afternoon, it's not scalable. The other thing that I found out, number one, is the lovely Mrs. White didn't want me to be off on the weekend. Or didn't want me to be gone on the weekend, didn't want me to be working on the weekend, because, the good news is she wanted to spend her time with her husband, and I'm so blessed and so grateful for that. But even if I wasn't married, my friends or myself, right? My mom, my dad, whoever, like I want to be with my family, or I want to be fishing or hiking or chilling or recharging my batteries on the weekend.
Yeah.
That if we're working 7 days a week, we are not effective. We might think we are, but I'm gonna tell you right now, it hurts your production if you don't take time off. And so the problem with doing open houses is not scalable. I was having to work the weekends. Here's something else that I found. I found that as a general rule, probably 9 times out of 10, at least 8 times out of 10, that the agents at the open house are brand new agents sitting in for a high producer because they're brand new too, and they're looking to drum up business. So they don't have any business to send me because they don't have anybody, because the top producer is no longer doing open houses on the weekend either. It's not a great way to meet new clients. I mean, it's an okay way.
Yeah.
It works.
You'll get it every once in a while.
And I got some loans at those open houses, but I couldn't scale it up to more than just a couple. It's just not a scalable thing.
Yeah.
And so I met the wrong people, not wrong, but I met newer agents who didn't have a referral source. I didn't have a referral source. Did we close some of those people that came in through open house?
Sure.
I did, but only the people that came into that open house. So I remember thinking about that, and I thought, how can I scale this up? And brother, this is not something I swiped from somebody. I came up with this, man. It's the one thing. It's the one thing that I came up with myself.
Come on.
All right. So here's what I did. This was clever.
Hey, so can I ask a question?
Sure,
if you're brand new, would you do open houses at all?
No.
Cool. So looking back,
I would do what I'm getting ready to tell you.
Yeah. So even for somebody who's saying, well, I'm brand new, I've got to have activity. It's not activity, it's effectiveness.
It's not
looking for.
Look, here's what you want to do. If you're brand new, start doing what people that are already successful are doing, and just copy them in whatever that is.
So you're 0, you're trying to get to 5 or 10. You want to start.
I'm going to find out who's closing 10 and copy her.
There you go.
And that's what I would do.
There you
go. So, but let me tell you how to get loans from open houses.
Okay.
Right. Because then that issue comes where, so realtor Sue is starting to refer me deals.
Yep.
She calls me up and wants me to hold an open house.
I hear it all the time.
How do I say no?
Yeah.
Right. So, and do I want to say no?
Yeah.
Here's how you do it. So what I did, and you know what, let me put a little caveat here. Run everything through your compliance, right? So I run everything through my compliance. So run everything through your compliance. All right, here's what I did. I got an open house sign-up sheet, right? So it was just simply a piece of paper, and it had at the top, columns, name, email address, and cell phone number.
Yeah.
And I would contact some agents and ask them to have this open house sign-up sheet, which almost everybody has anyway, almost all real estate agents, because they want to follow up on them. Have this sign-up sheet at the entrance when you walk into the open house. And maybe we need to put some cookies there, maybe, some little candies or mints or something like that, whatever's appropriate, right? And right where those cookies and everything, which is right when you walk into the house typically, would be the sign-up sheet. And if they don't walk in to sign in, I'd coach the real estate agent, tell them, please sign in. And you go, well, why would somebody sign in? Because that once everybody signs in, like if you were the realtor, I'd say, well, realtor Steve, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you this sign-up sheet. You're going to have everybody that comes in here sign in, right? Yeah. So you have a record of who came in to help you follow up. And by the way, I'm going to help follow up on these people for you. But what we're going to do is I'm going to give a $25 Home Depot gift certificate card to one lucky winner on that sheet.
Yeah.
Right. And so if 10 people sign in, then they got a 1 out of 10 chance of winning a $25 gift certificate. Now, I'm not a compliance person, and this is not a compliance conversation because I'm not qualified to do that. But what my compliance person told me, which is not advice for anybody else, but what my compliance person told me is, as long as you're truly randomly picking out and not because they did an application with you, you can give away something on that form, a prize. And so we would literally do that is like, let's say if we had, and I'm a stickler for doing things the right way.
What a great idea.
So let's say I had 25 sign-ins.
Yeah.
I would literally get 25, like number 1 through 25 on a piece of paper, put it into a hat. Even though nobody's watching, I literally did this, and I'd shake it up and I'd pull a number. It was number 14. Whoever's 14th person on the list, that's the person that won, right? Yeah. So, so then instead of holding one open house, I had that sheet of paper
at all of them,
at like 8 different realtors that I was working with. And so now and I'm doing the air quotes, I'm at 8 open houses all at the same time. And
you're getting the names of the people that have signed in to register for your door prize.
Yeah. Who are looking to hear from me, frankly, to hear if they won. Right. which when I first started this, I thought, gosh, when I tell them they didn't win,
how's that going to go?
Yeah. How's this going to go? And I thought, all right, well, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to call them and I'll let them bring up the topic of the gift certificate. Unless it was the winner, of course. I'll let them bring up the topic, which almost never they did. And I'll give you the script that I use here. So,
wow.
So I would have probably on any given weekend, that's about right, probably 8, 9, 10 or so of those open house sign-in sheets. Yeah. And then the agent on Monday morning, because I don't work the weekends, right?
Yeah.
On Monday morning, they would take a picture of the sign-in sheet and then they would text it to me or email it to me. Most of the time they just text, take a picture and, text it over to me. And now I've got the sign-in sheet and I've got sometimes 3, sometimes 33 on each sheet of paper of people that went to the open house, and I got their name and I got their email and I got their cell phone number. I'll give you a little trick we found out. People are like sheep. Me too, by the way. Right? We follow what other people are doing.
Yeah.
So what we would do is when we'd send out get that sheet to the realtor to hold at the open house, is I would go ahead and put 2 names at the top, like number 1 and number 2 would be 2 names. Like I'd pick like your name and my neighbor's name, just anybody's name, right? Yeah. And I'd put, so that when they walk in, they already see other people have come in.
What a great idea.
And already filled it out. So me being a sheep, which we all are, I'm gonna follow what other people do. Yeah. It's kind of like, if I noticed this, I was in Boston here this past weekend. And I was sitting there along with like 8 other people at a stoplight. There's no cars coming, but the don't walk sign was up. There's no cars coming. Yeah. All right. We're all sitting there waiting. I'm going, all right, well, screw this. I'm such a renegade anyway. I'm going ahead and walk because there's no cars coming. Yeah. As soon as I started to walk across, everybody walked across too.
Wow.
Right.
Somebody had to break through.
Somebody had to just do it first. Right. And frankly, sometimes I'm the one that's sitting there waiting and somebody else goes and then I follow them. Right. Yeah. So it's how it works. So get the sheet, name, email, cell phone for your chance to win $25 Home Depot gift certificate card. And then I would fill out the top 2 names with names. And then I would give it to the agent. And then he or she would have that open house. People fill it out either Sunday night, or I don't do anything with it on Sunday night, but either Sunday night, like as soon as she finishes, so he or she doesn't forget, they either take a picture and text it to me, take a picture and email it to me. And then on Monday morning, I've got my list of people to call. And I'd simply start at number 1. And I did this myself. I started at number 1 and called number 1, say, hey, Bob Jones, my name is Carl White over here at ABC Mortgage. And I work with Realtor Sue. She tells me you're at the open house this weekend. And I wouldn't go about the house. Yeah. Like I wouldn't say, what'd you think of the house? Because what I found, if they don't like the house,
they're done.
They don't like me.
Yeah.
And I went, all right. I learned that by doing, by the way. And I said, so Realtor Sue said that you came to one of our open houses. You and the Mrs. or you and the Mr. or are you out looking for a new home? Yeah. And sometimes the answer was yes. And sometimes it's no. Actually, they wouldn't say this, but I'm a nosy neighbor looking to see what my neighbor's house is selling for, right? Yeah. Nothing wrong with that, right? Or we're thinking about selling our house and just wanted to see what they did to their house to get it ready, right? Yeah. And that, I don't know, 2 out of 10 are nosy neighbors, kind of thing, right? And so on the other 8, are you guys looking to buy a home? And I used to say, are you looking to buy a home? And I got a fair amount said, no, we're just out looking. What they really were saying, not for another 2 months, we're not going to be looking. So I learned to say, are you looking to buy a new home? in the next 12 months.
Wow. That's a great addition.
Dude, when I did that, that really bumped our numbers.
Wow.
You know, that really bumped our numbers. So are you guys looking to buy a house in the next 12 months? And I'd say 2 out of the 10 nosy neighbors, one's just looking for free cookies. 6 out of 10 would say, yeah, we are thinking about doing it. Some right away. And some, you know, a couple months from now, or maybe this summer, or maybe this winter, or, you know, whatever time is appropriate. And so then we'd ask, all right, well, cool. So I used to ask, did you get so I do finance, I do home financing. Are you guys pre-approved yet? And almost everybody would say yes. And I went, I know they're not, right? Just because I know the percentage wise. So I didn't ask, did you get pre-approved yet? I learned to ask, who did you get pre-approved with? Because when I said, are you pre-approved? They can think of a lie real quick, which was yes. But when I said, who did you get your pre-approval with?
You can't think of it fast enough.
They couldn't think of a fast enough answer. And they would tell me the truth was, we haven't actually done that yet.
Wow.
And so then I would just offer, I said, well, totally cool. I can help you with that now. And I wouldn't say, is that okay? I would just go, dude, I go right into the 1003. And so I'd say, all right, well, cool. So are y'all looking to buy this home? Like I'm talking to an individual. So if I was talking to you, Steve, I'd say, all right, Steve, well, cool. Hey, are you looking to buy this house by yourself, Steve, or with somebody else?
And just go straight into it.
I just run through the app and I just do it in a conversation. I go, oh, awesome. So do you live around here already, or where do you live? Well, we live over at so-and-so. Hey, just for complete information, what's that address? And now you got me address. I said, oh, cool. So do you work around there? No, I work over at 5th and Vine. Where do you work at, if you don't mind me asking? I work at Raytheon. Oh, awesome. How long you been there for? Oh man, that's great. That's great. Hey, well, we're almost through with the pre-approval. I just need a couple more things. If you don't mind me asking, what'd you W-2 last year? And just run through the app. Right. And man, that worked out for me really, really, really good.
It's so slick.
It was perfect. I'm just having a conversation. And when I start need to asking like social security number and income, I just say, And I just say, hey, we're almost done. They don't even know we're doing a pre-approval, right? I say, hey, well, I'm almost done with the pre-approval process already. I just need a couple more things. And then here's a couple more things that I need. And man, that open house project worked for me. We call it the open house project. So that open house project worked for me really, really well. The realtors liked it, you know, because I'd pre-approve the people that came through the place. They enjoyed the little $25 gift certificate, you know, that I gave away.
Well, and it's an incentive for people to come to.
And we always gave them away. Most of the time I would leave the $25 gift certificate with the realtor. And so, because I didn't want to be in charge of sending that thing out. And just so she knew, or he knew, we're really sending this thing out, right? Don't ever say, hey, we're giving something and don't do it. Like totally uncool, right? That's a karma thing. Number one, it's probably against the law. And number two, it's just a karma thing. If you say you're going to do something, do it. And would I pay $25 for 10 contacts of people looking to buy a house in the next 12 months? All day long. Right? I'd pay $250, which by the way, I tested. Let's see, what was the numbers? So to the best of my memory, I tested a $25 gift certificate versus a $100 gift certificate. And we found on average a no increased number of people that would sign the sign-in sheet. So no need to give away 100 if 25 worked just as well.
That's great.
So people like winning even small things. Dude, think about Cracker Jacks. How many of us have bought a box of Cracker Jacks, you know, when we were kids? They get the stupid little prize inside that was still do it. Okay. I wasn't going to fess up to it, but that's what we did. So,
hey, and that's great for your agents too, because your agency that you're following up on their leads, you're helping them drum up more business. I mean, what a great way. It's all in the list. Like, we need people to pursue, and to help them.
Well, and that's how I sold it. So I'd call up these agents. They don't know who. So I'm brand new in the business. They don't know who I am. And so I would look in the paper, you know, to see who's advertising a open house this weekend. And then I would call them up. And I'd say, hey, Realtor Steve. So my name is Carl White. I'm over here at ABC Mortgage. I see you're holding an open house at 123 Main Street this weekend. And I was wanting to know, would you like some help converting more of would you like help getting more of those people to sign a sign-in sheet? And would you like some help converting more of those people that do the sign-in sheet, convert them into home buyers with you as the realtor, as the buyer agent? Would you like some free help with that?
Well, that's a no-brainer. Yes.
Well, yeah, and
nobody else is doing it.
And some would say no.
Yeah.
Totally cool.
Yeah.
Right. I just simply go on to the next one.
Yeah.
And so now I've met new agents.
Mm-hmm.
I'm helping them follow up on clients.
That's
right.
so
I'm
good.
pre-approving their people.
Mm-hmm.
And now when I pre-approve their people, I'd pre-approve them. I'd follow up with the agent. Hey, I got them pre-approved. Every Thursday, I'd call those pre-approved buyers, ask them how the house hunting's going with Realtor Steve.
Yeah.
Every time I did the update of how's the house hunting going every single Thursday until they buy, I'd call you and say, hey, Steve, just want you to let you know, I just talked to Mr. and Mrs. Jones.
Yeah.
Remember, they were at the open house. I pre-approved them. I just called. They actually say they're taking this weekend off. That they're gonna hold off this weekend from the home buying. But man, they still sound excited.
Yeah.
And I'll follow up with you next Thursday to see how the house hunting going. And so now I'm following up with them, and I'm doing my call to action with you.
It's huge.
Oh, by the way, Steve, it's Thursday. Who else are you working with this weekend that I can pre-approve to make sure it's a good use of your time? Question mark. And sometimes they would give me a number, and sometimes they wouldn't. But it's just doing more and more of that business. And then I go to a closing. I meet the listing agent. I offer the same service to the listing agent. Man, I was buying a lot of Home Depot gift certificate cards.
Money well spent.
Because it was writing small checks to cash big checks. Man, I did really, really well. But I had to follow up with these people. Yeah. Right. You got to, if you're going to do it,
follow up.
Keys in the follow up. And so it went really, really well. So
what a great strategy.
Man, I loved it because now I was getting more closings.
Yeah.
I wasn't working the weekends.
Yeah.
My agents were happy with the service I was doing. And if anybody said, hey, Carl, the only way this worked for me, if you're sitting there beside me, hey, I totally respect that. And here, I'd like to send you the gift certificate card anyway, just to give it away to whoever you want to randomly. And I would. I'd send them a gift certificate card because it's like after somebody tells you no, and then you do a random act of coolness, man, that's going to bug them. That's going to bug them to think, you know what a cool gesture. I need to give this guy a call back.
Yeah.
And I'd call them up, say, hey, on the open house you had this weekend that I couldn't attend, anybody I can help you with. And sometimes they say no, and sometimes they say yes. Right? It's
that's so good.
And it's okay. It goes back to, I used to think when somebody told me no, that they would say no to everything else too. Yeah. And that's not true. It goes back to people don't think about us near as much as we think they do. Yeah. They're too busy worried about what you think of them. And so when you can get over that thing that not everybody's thinking about you all the time, even when they say no, and calling them up again, you might get a yes this time. So, man, asking is free, and
what a great tip and a great strategy, and not have to actually be there on the weekend.
Yeah, and so people say, well, how do you not work the weekend? That's
how you do it.
That's one of the ways.
That's a great way to do it.
It's right there. So, man, so if you go, all right, well, what's the downside to this? Man, I can't think of one. I mean, it was awesome. So now the question is, Carl, how come you're not doing that today? Man, that's a darn good question. Hey, that's a darn good question, because there was no downside to it whatsoever. And it worked really well.
That's a great way to.
So that's how I turned open houses into an absolute home run, and still being home with the lovely Mrs. White.
I love it.
Right. So that's how that works. So
and
did we cover this?
Thorough.
Okay. I think we did it.
That's great. Yeah.
Cool. Hey, so if you'd like to do a 90-day map out of especially this time of year, right? Which is really any time of the year, right? Yeah. But especially this time of year, mapping out what your next 90 days looks like is a really, really good plan. Because I can tell you right now, the activities you do now, the actions you take now is going to be responsible for your closing 60 days from now. And just like if you'd have taken action 60 days ago,
you'd be seeing the fruit of it today.
You'd be seeing the fruit of it today. Yeah, so let's take some action. We'd love to map out what your next 90 days. There's no charge for this. If you just go to loanofficerstrategycall.com, loanofficerstrategycall.com. And when you go to that page, it'll ask you a couple questions so we can best prepare for that call. Because this is not a cookie cutter call. We design it strictly around where you are and what you got going on. And so it'll ask you a couple questions. We're going to prepare for the call. And then it'll take you to a calendar page. Pick the day and time that works for you, and we'd love to map out your next 90 days. No charge, no catch, no strings, no gimmicks, no kidding. So I think that's it, man.
I
We
love it.
good?
Yeah, great. Thank you guys for listening. Always enjoy being here.
You know, has anybody ever told you talk too much? You know,
Not
is
too
that
much. Well, the truth, I love hearing you, man. You
Dude,
have great ideas.
I totally see. I had
Not just great ideas.
I had too much caffeine in my tea this morning. I'm not a coffee drinker. I'm a tea drinker. I must have had too much caffeine. So, hey guys, thanks so much. We really do appreciate you. And hey, if you think the people that you can think of that would benefit from hearing this episode, Steve and I would really appreciate you forwarding it to them. It'll help them out. I promise you, they'll thank you for it, and I'll thank you for it too. So, with that, thanks so much. We appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next episode of Loan Officer Freedom. Bye bye, everybody.
So